A thread by Carlos Osuida. Let's have a history lesson to explain what's happening to the Democrats and why they're doomed. Adolf Hitler fought in World War I and remained in the army after hostilities ceased on November 11th, 1918. Hitler became an intelligence agent of an army reconnaissance unit. He was assigned to infiltrate the German Workers' Party, DAP. The DAP gave him material detailing the party's anti-Jewish, anti-conservative, anti-capitalist, and anti-Marxist views. It was a socialist party. Hitler was ordered to join the party in September of 1919. Instead of sabotaging the DAP, he adopted its views. At Hitler's suggestion, the party changed its name to the National Socialist Workers' Party, NSDAP, the Nazis. Hitler designed the Nazi flag. After Hitler was discharged from the army in March of 1920, he worked for the party full-time and rose through its ranks to become the main public speaker. In 1923, Hitler led a failed coup and ended up in prison on a 5-year term. He served only 9 months. The Nazi Party was banned in Bavaria, but Hitler got the ban reversed. Before the ban, Hermann Göring had formed a paramilitary wing of the NSDAP called the Sturmabteilung. They were mostly untrained, unarmed thugs. Okay, so that's the SA, okay? The military wing of the Nazi Party, okay? They're called the Brown Shirts. And there they are, brown shirts. A World War I stormtrooper named Ernst Röhm took over the SA, organized it, and expanded it dramatically. There's your Ernst Röhm. The Treaty of Versailles had limited the German army, or Reichswehr, to 100,000 men. By 1934, the SA, the brown shirts, under Röhm's leadership had grown to 4 million men. One faction of the SA was the Schutzstaffel, SS, an armed, organized guard that served as Hitler's bodyguard. The SS were trained by the Reichswehr and led by Heinrich Himmler. They dressed in black. So you got your brown shirts and you got your black shirts. The German army completely got around all the restrictions placed on it by the Treaty of Versailles. Although the army was limited to 100,000 men, secretly they were all officers who wore the ranks of enlisted men. They were trained in assault tactics, as can be seen by the leather patches on the knees. They also used banned weapons such as flamethrowers. You can see the round fuel tank, and on the left is the lance nozzle. Okay, so first the leather patches on their outfits, and then let's take a look and see if we can find these here flamethrowers. The round fuel tank, and on the left is the lance nozzle. All right, there's your lance nozzle, see? And then, bam, fuel tank right there. Okay, moving right along. The Russians allowed the German army to secretly train in tank warfare in Russia. The German plan was to create a fully trained officer corps who would then train enlisted men. In World War I, it was German officers who did all the training. By 1932, Hitler's Nazi Party had won enough seats in parliament for Hitler to demand the position as chancellor. He was backed by influential power brokers who feared communism above all else. On January 30th, 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Hitler chancellor. After the Reichstag fire of February 27, 1933, Hitler issued a decree ending all individual freedoms. On March 23, 1933, the parliament voted for a bill that gave Hitler absolute power. All opposition parties and unions were abolished. Back to the brown shirts. Hitler was not a committed Nazi. He was interested only in power. The leader of the brown shirts, Ernst Röhm, was a fanatical Nazi who insisted on adopting all the stated goals of Nazism. His 4 million brown shirts roamed Germany, destroying all oppositions. The brown shirts invented cancel culture as we know it today, closing down Jewish-owned businesses. They don't like Jews, hate them a lot. The violence was so continual that Germany couldn't rebuild its economy. Rome believed in permanent revolution. He demanded that the armed forces and police be abolished, replaced by people's forces. So the army told Hitler to get rid of Rome. Hitler then ordered the SS, the trained and armed faction of the SA, to carry out the Night of the Long Knives. On June 30th, 1934, all the leaders of the SA were rounded up and killed. Since the SA had no training, they were unable to stop it. With that, the army gave Hitler its support. In 1935, Hitler announced that he was abandoning the restrictions put on Germany by the Treaty of Versailles. He introduced a conscription law that changed the name of the armed forces to the Wehrmacht. There were hundreds of thousands of trained officers by now, so the German armed forces expanded rapidly. The SS formed a separate branch of the service called the Waffen-SS, ground forces identically armed as the regular army. And then we had World War II. There's nobody to take out today's leftist brown shirts. The Democrats don't have an SS to neutralize the SA that it funded. So the SA took over the party, the press, punditry, and academia. But while Ernst Röhm knew what he was doing, today's brown shirts are idiots. Röhm didn't care about words. He cared only about actions. Today's brown shirts care only about words and symbolism. Their ideas are absolutely insane. And they're unable to go any further than they have. The Democrats are being forced to mouth brown shirt rhetoric, which will get them maybe 8% of the vote. We're already seeing reforms that prevent discrimination against conservatives at colleges and universities. The media will go full brown shirt until it dies. What else? The Democratic Party? It too will reform or die. The fear of leftist radicalism is greatly overstated. And look at the list of professional failures endorsing Joe Biden. Colin Powell, that's like a bad joke. Romney and Bush refused to endorse Trump. So what? Condoleezza Rice and James Mattis hate Trump for only one reason. So that's your history lesson for the night. And now, dinner.